Good morning everyone, this is Sheena Mae Martin from 6G Daily Newscast. Just in today, Mr. Gilbert Ryle, a British philosopher mainly associated with the ordinary language philosophy movement and the author of the concept mind, is being questioned by tons of people about his perspective in self, wherein he disagreed about Mr. René Descartes' perspective of self. Mr. Ryle said in one of his interviews that self comes from behavior. Let's hear more about Mr. Ryle's perspective. Miss Danica, what updates do you have?
Okay, so today Mr. Ryle is being questioned in media about his perspective and self, wherein teenager, businessmen, social works, or people of earth flooded Mr. Ryle's account throwing their question. Mr. Ryle, welcome to our show. How are you feeling today?
Little bit tired. Reading those comments make me exhausted.
Really is exhausting. I am thankful that you are able to give us an opportunity to feature you here in our interview.
Oh, it's pleasure to be here.
We proceed to the people's question. For those who didn't know him that much, let us give you a short introduction of our guest of honor.
Born in Brighton, Sussex, England on August 1900, out of 10 children, he came from a prosperous family and enjoyed a liberal and stimulating childhood and adolescence. Gilbert grew up in an environment of learning which makes him love to read. Ryle gained first-class honors at Queen's College, Oxford, and became a lecturer at Christ Church College in 1924. Throughout his career, which remained centered at Oxford, he attempted as a pamphlet professor of metaphysical philosophy in his writings and as an editor of the journal Mind, to dissipate confusion arising from the misapplication of the language. He is also known as the author of The Concept Mind and Plato's Progress and more.
That's it. So here is what you all been waiting for. Mr. Ryle, are you ready?
Yes?
We'll share the question asked and chosen for this interview, and together with two other people who will ask Mr. Ryle for the additional questions. Previous interview, people are saying that you are opposed to Mr. René Descartes' dualism theory of self. What can you say about this, sir?
It's not like that, but I really disagree. My point against Descartes' theory are, first, the relation between mind and body are not isolated processes. Second, mental processes are not intelligence acts and are not distinct from each other. Lastly, the operation of mind itself an intelligence act.
In Cartesian dualism, where you coined the phrase ghost in the machine, you said that our constant use of the word mind has caused us to believe that they actually exist. Why?
There is no such things as existence of the internal non-physical mind or self. In fact, I came up with this conception that there is a mysterious entity called the mind that controls the mechanical working of body. That is why I named these misconceptions as the ghost in the machine.
Building this concept, you also call the mystical mind a category mistake, right?
Yes, a category mistake is an error in logic in which one category of something is presented as belonging to another category. It goes something like this. One day, a girl visited a college campus. After seeing buildings, teacher, students, and dorms, she looked at the tour guide and sweetly asked, "This is all nice, but when do I get to see the university?" With this question, the girl committed a category mistake. Rather than realizing everything she saw made up the university, she thought it existed as a separate category. In the same manner, those who think the mind exists separately from the body are also committing a category mistake. There is only body but not the existence of soul. Okay? You cannot find or locate the soul. Why? Because it is not in one location. Because it's just behaviors.
Oh, okay, sir. Proceeding to the next question. How can you say self is about behavior?
To be honest, I see behavior as an entirety of thoughts, emotions, and actions of a person that relates to observable behavior. We get to know others because of their behavior. We like others because of their behavior.
So are you saying, sir, that the things that other people see based on our actions or what we see in them define us and them?
It's true. How can you say that whatever you think you are will define you? If you think you are a good person, a helpful one, do you think that is what others think of you? I guess not all would think that way. In defining self, we should focus on the observing behavior of the person in front of us. That behavior will reflect that person and it will define what type of person he or she was. Same to ourselves. Sometimes you don't need others to know your true self. You can identify it yourself.
Wow, this question and answer really made me confused. In your interview, you stated something like, I act, therefore I am. So it really is what you act, what people see in you, and what your behavior is your definition of yourself. Am I right? And you also call this as behaviorism?
Again, yes, I believe that self comes from behavior. We get to know others by observing their behavior and inferring about themselves. We can apply the same observation and reflection on ourselves.
Mr. Ryle has already answered all of our netizens' questions, so this interview ends here. Back to you, Sheena.
Thank you, Danica. Alright, now our thoughts are clarified about what self really is for Mr. Gilbert Ryle. Today, we happen to know that he believes that the mind and body are one in the same thing. He stated that one's actions shape one's sense of self. He also believes that how you act and what you do reflect on what you are and who you are as a person. So that's all for today. Again, this is Sheena Mae Martin, your news anchor, and see you next week for another set of hottest news. Thank you and goodbye.